You might see other people and you're like, they look like they're so beautiful and glowing, pregnant. Why am I throwing up the toilet bowl every other day? Like, and everyone's like, oh, pregnancy is so beautiful. Enjoy your journey. I'm like,
lie on.
I'm trying, girl. I'm trying. My labor was 17 hours.
I'm getting stressed. I'm not kidding. I'm like, oh my god. Hello everyone, welcome to the Hot Pot, where we hop into different pots of spaces people find themselves in during life's transitions. I'm Joey.
I'm Q.
I'm Nick, and today's episode is a very exciting one. Mother's Day is coming up, 母亲节.
Wow,
So,
母亲节.
because of that, we have a new mom in the house. I'm sure you've seen her before on TikTok. She's damn funny. It's Deborah.
Hello. My name is Deborah, but I guess you guys want to call me Debs. I do content with my husband on TikTok and Instagram. What happens is that I'm like funnier than him. So.
You are.
You're damn funny.
You are.
Straight away say you are.
100%. I don't know your husband, but you are funnier than him.
No, her husband quite funny
No.
also. Like that
No,
day,
but she funnier.
the day I like nose laugh from his,
Nose
there was- you know
Most
the
love is what? Oh.
What did he do?
no, he was showing off his pram.
Oh.
Right, you know you got this fancy
Yes,
pram.
yes, yes,
then you can
yes.
one hand on.
Yeah.
But my
Yeah.
favorite video is her saying the mama, like call me mama, then call Fabian father figure. Father figure.
I remember that video.
Okay, but first of all, congrats on being a new mom.
Yay.
I think most of us has seen her journey from getting married to pregnancy and then now becoming a new mom. So today's topic is about what it's like being a first-time mom. So how has it been?
I would say that, so my baby is about 8 months old now. I feel like I am kind of out of the thick of postpartum. So I feel more like myself. I feel like I got my time back, my body back. And my baby is also like at such a cute age also. You know, newborn, they're like,
Yeah.
right? And then now they're
Now
like,
they like come to
talking.
life, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they recognize you. My baby actually has started saying mama.
Congrats.
Slay.
You won
It
it.
works, okay.
You won.
Yeah. Although my husband is very delulu, he insists he doesn't hear it, but she has said it.
How has your partner been throughout this entire journey of yours?
Honestly, you know, when you marry someone, right, and you marry them because they are a good boyfriend, and you're like, you should be a good husband, you're kind of taking a bet on whether they're going to be a good father.
Yeah.
But I would like to say, like, thank God, I feel like my bet worked. He was really, really a good supportive husband and a really good father throughout this entire journey. And like, you know, women go through so much in postpartum. Actually, even starting pregnancy, you go through so much. And you kind of need a husband who rise up to the challenge. And you know, your body go through so much, you don't recognize yourself. You kind of need someone who understands you and knows you the best to tell you that you're still you and remind you there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow.
Oh, sounds like a great guy. Just less funny than you.
Yeah, that one thing if you could improve, you know, is his humor.
Funny a bit. You go and practice a bit. Hey, how did you meet your husband?
Coffee meets bagel.
Nice.
Yeah.
CMB did not work for me though.
So many people around us met on CMB.
Shit.
Yeah, it's like, in fact, my husband picked me up with a pickup line that my brother-in-law used on my sister-in-law. He just recycled the pickup line on me.
What's the pickup line?
Dude, it's so lame. He was like, hi, you look mixed. And then I was so stupid. I replied, oh, mixed between what? And then he, half Chinese, half angel.
Okay, yeah, you're definitely funnier.
Wow.
But if you were to go back in time, right, did you guys actually plan to have a baby or was it unexpected?
Let's go through the timeline, right?
Yes.
Like, we met in 2020. We got engaged in 2021. We got married in 2022, November. And December, we found out we're pregnant.
Wow, every year them happening.
Yeah, we're like a fast track program, you know?
The KPI.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, every year we sit down, end of year review, you're like, what can we shock ourselves with next year? No, I'm like, but it's true that we are like, you know, it's progressing. At least it was at a speed that we are comfortable with.
Yes.
But because maybe we were already adults, you know, so we don't have to
Yeah.
date like 8 years, you know, kind of thing. You already know this is what I want. I meet someone who wants the same thing as me. We are comfortable, or we get married. We didn't mind having a kid. But the thing is, everyone around us tried for a long time. You know, you don't just immediately get pregnant. Like,
Yeah.
there are friends who are like, yeah, we're starting to try to have a kid. It's been 6 months, you know. So we thought, oh, 6 months, 1 year down the line, you know, if you start trying now, whatever. And then we thought, okay, I didn't need to think so much. And the thing is about me is like, I'm quite a paranoid person.
Yeah.
I told my husband, okay, so we just got married. let's take it easy. And then January, I'm going to book for us a gynae visit just to do a check of everything, to make sure everything is okay.
This is before you start trying.
Before we even like know that we're pregnant or whatever. But like I always had this irrational fear that I'm infertile. And then like I was like, okay, let's go do a general check, in January. Turns out December already find out pregnant and don't even.
Wow. So your
so it was, like,
fertility
really
check end up being your
my pregnancy
your
test
pregnancy
kit.
test.
Yeah.
Did you expect to be a mom at 30?
I guess I always wanted to be a mom. It's a bad habit of me that I was always trying to rush to the next stage. I always knew that I wanted to be a wife and I wanted a family and I wanted a kid. So even when I was single, I was looking at my friends, they're married and they had kids. I was like, oh my God, like when is it my turn? But of course I was trying to enjoy my singlehood and everything.
How was your pregnancy? Do you
pregnancy
consider like it as a tough pregnancy or like okay?
So I think the tricky thing about motherhood, right, is that everyone has such different experience. So it's like sometimes when you go through something tough, right, you almost look at yourself, you're like, something must be wrong with me. Because you might see other people and you're like, they look like they're so beautiful and glowing, pregnant. Why am I throwing up the toilet bowl every other day? Like, And everyone's like, oh, pregnancy is so beautiful, enjoy your journey. I'm like,
Lie on. It's
trying,
like
girl,
the
I'm
whole
trying.
social media thing where you just put the best version of yourself out, right?
I'm not sure how tough mine is, but I know from my personal journey, it was not easy for sure. I remember I just had nausea for 5 months straight. And it's the kind of nausea, it's constant state of nausea. It's like you're hungover all the time, every day, every second of the day. Or maybe having food poisoning every second of the day. Like imagine for 5 months. And then it got to a point where when you describe to them, like literally imagine you are nauseous all the time, right? Like you cannot even understand how what does that even mean, you know? Like even my husband is like, no, we're trying different things. Like, oh, maybe it's a mindset thing. Maybe if you think positively,
Wait, he said that?
Yeah, but it's like, he was like, just throwing out suggestions, Like, I was like, thank you for your suggestion.
But be quiet.
Have you hydrated today?
Drink water.
I
Have you eat Pret Love, And the fact that I even tried to gaslight myself, I was like, maybe it is a mindset thing. But it wasn't until the 6-month mark where the nausea finally left that I woke up one day, I was like, it was real. It was real the whole time, So it was that bad. Then of course, they call the second trimester, which is the beautiful trimester, the honeymoon trimester.
The one
because
you got glow,
you are like, you have a little bump.
Yeah.
You're still yourself, but just here it's like a little bump. Then you get to wear cute outfits to show a little bump.
Yeah.
Then you don't feel any symptom, At least that's for me.
Your skin good, right?
Then you're seeing like, glowing. You're just like, and then you go everywhere, you're like, it's not heavy, you're just, but people are like, pregnant, take a seat, Pregnant, extra egg for you, I was like, thank you, uncle, But then third trimester came and then it's like this heavy watermelon sitting on your bladder all the time. Like, I want to pee, then you go and pee. Then you come back, right, sit on your bed. I want to pee again, Where did this pee come from? I just peed. Then, right, I went out to I go and pee, right? Really got pee, Where did pee come from? I had like back pain, sciatica, which is like just nerve pain. My friend used to joke, like, they're like, oh my God, because both of them were mom, right, already before me. So I was telling her, I was like, girl, you guys lied to me. Like, you guys took your pregnancy with so much grace. I'm such a whiny ass, like right now, I'm complaining all the time. Like, they're like, honestly, our pregnancy wasn't as bad as yours. Maybe that's why. Because I was like, you guys lied to me. You guys did not prep me for this, They were laughing. They said, all the checklist of pregnancy, right, it's like, tick, you have this. Oh, you have this. Oh, you have this. They're like, she's like, I know you're a perfectionist, but it doesn't mean you have to take all the checklists.
Every symptom also need
you're
to
like,
have.
of course you're an overachiever, you have to achieve all the symptoms of pregnancy. But I think, in like jokes aside, it was tough for me. I'm sure there are people who have it much worse, because at least for me, it was tough. But my pregnancy was smooth, you see.
Maybe for Joey and Nick, right? Do you guys see yourself being parents? I mean, we talked about it before.
Not in the immediate future, lah.
But it's
Won't
a yes
rule out, lah.
eventually?
No, I think for now it's like no. But the sort of rule now is every 2 years review. Yeah.
Always a dream. My dream in life is to be a mother.
I relate.
I scared.
But you scared the pregnancy, lah.
I'm very bad with pain. Like
Needles.
injection already, I want to scream already.
Yeah. There are people telling you, oh, it's such a beautiful time. Please enjoy pregnancy. I'm like, I'm trying to enjoy my pregnancy. I'm really trying, but every pregnancy is different.
Yeah.
So the only ones speaking out that you're hearing are the ones, maybe they were blessed, they had easy pregnancy,
Yeah lor.
you see. Like, I have people who tried to convince me to not take epidural, for example.
Oh,
Because they said-
organic easier.
Yeah, they said, don't like this risk, whatever, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So of course I consulted with my gynae to make a final decision, which is that epidural all the way.
Yeah.
But like that people say, and then I realized people who said that, like, at least the person who told me, her labor was so fast. Like,
oh.
then okay, maybe you extend that, then it's over, My labor was 17 hours. If I didn't have epidural, I think I disappear already. Like, seriously.
I'm getting stressed.
You getting hives.
I'm getting stressed. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, oh my god.
Wait, so now your daughter is 8 months old, right? Do you feel the feeling of having multiple emotions existing in motherhood as well?
Oh, for sure. I think even in postpartum, even more so. Like, the baby is out here in front of you. So, even more happy. You're like, oh my god, this precious thing. And at the same time, I feel like I have an open wound on myself 24/7. I look in the mirror, I don't recognize myself. My hair is dropping, balding. Like, all kind of things hitting you all at the same time. So you're like, am I allowed to be sad? Am I allowed to cry?
Yes, you are.
Like, I'm so happy, and I don't want to sound ungrateful. Like, I'm really so happy. And also, I'm puking every day. So now what? Like, you are going through all of that, which you don't want to sound ungrateful because people will tell you, there are people like really want to have a kid and they cannot have a kid.
Yeah.
They hear you complaining, which is like, I understand. I also don't want to complain, but I'm having a tough time,
Yeah.
But then, of course, there are other side of it which people are saying, oh my God, the fact that you are speaking about this, we have never heard about it before. Which people are like saying that, thank you for speaking out about this. I was like, I'm not trying to do anything, actually. I'm not even trying to like be a big person or whatever. This is just my experience, And I know that there are some people who did not experience this. They experience something better or worse. I'm not trying to complain, but I think that womanhood, motherhood has such a multiple different colors of experience, It's not just black and white of I'm happy or I'm not. Like, you can be happy and you can have all these other emotions, like, what about me as a person? What about my marriage now? What about my hobbies? What about who I was before this? What about my anxiety? What's going to happen after this? So there's so many different facets of, I think, motherhood.
So actually, how was your confinement period, like right after giving birth?
So confinement actually shocked me immediately. I always thought that confinement was a very traditional habit. Like, it's just something our parents passed down. I wasn't aware that I literally am going to be in full recovery during confinement. I don't know what I expected. I expected myself to give birth and I don't know, walk around or what.
Like reset.
Okay, so confinement, they say you must wear long pants, right? My mom say you must wear long pants, okay? Whatever the reason is, maybe it's like, they're scared the wind will come into your body or what, okay?
Your baby legs will longer.
That kind, They said must wear long pants. So before I gave birth, I went to Uniqlo and I was like, okay, I'm going to buy long pants. I don't have any sleeping long pants. So I was like, I'll buy size M lah. And the day I came up from the hospital, I came off the shower after, literally like bleeding everywhere. I came out of the shower, right? My pants wouldn't go past my thighs. And I sat there pantsless, just like crying on the bed. I was like, what's happening? I said, I can't fit my pants, Fabian have to like go and find his pants for me to wear. So I ended up wearing his pants for quite like some like months, like seriously, because it was the only thing I could fit into. After you give birth, right, you'll be like, you really got to take out the baby butt or not? My stomach still like that.
Is it exactly the same?
It wasn't exactly, but definitely not much difference, right? Like, I still look pregnant. I'm sure there are a lot of people who look like me after they give birth, It goes away, it does go away. You get your body back in some way or another, your new acceptance of your new body.
So, Debs, were there any sacrifices that you had to make during this whole motherhood journey?
I think I miss the autonomy of your body, because I think when you are breastfeeding, you have to breastfeed or pump every 3 hours. So you live your life in 3-hour blocks. Imagine I have to meet a friend at 12 p.m. and have lunch. Okay, I squeeze the time. I pump at 11. Okay, I pump as fast as I can. 11:30 I leave house. 2 p.m. I must pump again. So I go meet my friend. 12. We have lunch. Quickly talk. Catch up. 1:30. I need to go home and pump. It's like, you only have 1.5 hours. If not, I was like, okay, you wait for me. I bring my pump already. I go to pump in the toilet. Okay, to pump, I need to bring my pump. I need to wear something that allow me to pump easily. I need to make sure that the milk only lasts few hours. I need to make sure to time. It's like mine is always doing girl math, like mom math. Just for me, it got better. Like, breastfeeding became like, it became more manageable, because after all, you learn how to count, firstly. And then also it stretches longer and longer. There are people who like, their baby cannot latch, because latch is not a natural thing
I
that
didn't know
just
that.
like,
I thought we just grabbed
just
the nipple.
they thought it's just a
perfect fit.
like the baby have to learn to latch, I always describe it as like, it's like learning to drive. And your baby is also somehow also learning to drive. Then you're both in a car together. The baby is crying. It's like a whole like situation, because
steering wheels.
You must wait for the other driver to learn also.
Correct, because they must learn to latch. Because if they latch wrongly, it's very painful. And like for me, it started bleeding. Like, it's like you didn't know all of that, you know? And for me, I really tried to educate myself as much as possible, but still, nothing is like practical, right? Only when you're in it, then you realize, oh, it's like that. Oh my God, learn on the job, you know? It's like the stress, you know? So the pain, breastfeed 12 a.m., some people like cannot latch, so they have to pump, no choice.
Question part.
Share with us one TMI of your past week. So, you know, as a postpartum mom, there is one moment that you always dread, which is the day your period came back.
Oh my God, must wear diaper or not?
No lah, like a normal period.
I thought the flow is like bleh.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Like people like last for like 2 weeks or what.
Oh my
gosh. Internal bleeding or what. Like, but for me it was quite normal. But yes, to say that I received my period notification last week. And you know the feeling of getting a period back, right? As a mom, right? It's like, you know,
I don't know.
You've been like subscribing to something, right? And then they forget to charge you. Then right, you've been like suddenly waiting for the charge to come, like, oh my God, when will they find out? Right? Then one day the charge came, you're like, damn it, they found out. That's the feeling when you have a period, like, it's bad.
Okay, what did you eat for breakfast today? Oh, I didn't eat breakfast today. It was so underwhelming. I was very, very sad because I woke up a bit late.
Okay, what did you eat yesterday?
Yesterday for breakfast, I had banana bread that Jess made.
Oh.
Yeah. I always buy bananas, then purposely don't eat so that will like...
She will make
She was like,
so that-
ayo, must make
then I'll
banana
be like,
bread
hey,
for me.
must make banana bread if not waste.
Oh.
So irritating.
Yeah.
Interesting how...
But actually, I purposely buy them a lot.
Interesting
Jess,
how
are you
marriage
watching?
works. What are you watching on Netflix now? Oh my gosh.
Physical 100 season 2.
Stop it. I was just talking to Joey about it. It's not Physical 100. No. I've never watched Sex and the City and I started watching it. I love it so much. Oh my God. Can I just say that I'm so passionate about this show right now? Because I feel like, right, as a 29-year-old, I relate to the cast so much or the characters so much because they are in their 30s figuring out their dating and love life.
What was something you did during circuit breaker that you miss? Oh my God, the workouts.
Oh my God.
Chloe Ting ah.
Dance workouts.
Something, what's her name?
Chloe Ting ah.
No, I never do Chloe Ting.
Emmy Wong ah.
I did what's her name? She did a lot of dance videos. Then like Toxic, you pulse like 1 million times, then pain at your ass burn.
Toxic, you pulse Oh, the Britney Spears.
Yeah. That's you got it.
You got it.
For me, something that I've been thinking about, right, is because we are at the age now where a lot of our friends and like even my like cousins and relatives are becoming parents, right? Then something that I realized is that there has been a very big shift in parenting styles from our parents' generation to like our generation now. Our generation, there are also certain segments that have overcorrected a little bit. Whereas our parents' generation is like, whatever lah, the baby will wake up whatever time they want to wake up, they will sleep whenever they will sleep. To now, like sometimes there are people who are so stressed about like, oh no, the baby must sleep now. So when I was discussing this with Jess or so, then it was a case of like, okay, I think you need to try to strike a balance where possible. The physiological bits, that one is, you cannot run away from it. You need to pump means you need to pump, that kind of thing. But the things that are out of your control, sometimes you need to like just go with it. Or
Do you guys think you lean towards a more traditional or more modern take?
I think in between lah. Like, cause sometimes I listen to my aunties and uncles, I also doesn't sound quite right. It sounds like you might be passing down some trauma there.
Generational trauma.
Yeah. But then sometimes when I listen to like some of my like cousins and all that also, right, or like even friends, right, information is so readily available, but then there's so much different information. And then there are trends and there's social media also. Then you listen to some like momfluencer or like parentfluencers, right? Then you feel like, oh, if I don't do this or if this doesn't work for me, that means I'm doing something wrong. Then I think that becomes very stressful also.
I always hear this term that is so funny. They say, we are the best parents before we become parents. Because, right, when you're parents, sometimes you're in survival mode.
Yeah.
Let's do what allow us to survive, you know? Like, sometimes it's like we have all this controlled idea in our head because maybe sometimes having control help you feel a bit more stable about the situation, you know. But at the end of the day, your kid is different. Or you will see people telling you, you know, my kid is not like that one, you know.
Yeah.
Good for you, lor.
Like, wow. God has blessed you.
Yeah.
God has blessed you. You know, thank you. But damn, like, you know, we gotta do what we have to.
It's
Yeah.
very nice to
you
flex,
know.
Yeah,
like
this
that.
kind of flex like
Like putting people down.
Yeah.
I've heard moms who tell me that they get super triggered up by it, which is that people like to ask, is your baby sleeping through the night yet?
Yeah, I find it so triggering.
You got a child or what?
No, like just now,
No,
like,
I also feel damn triggered when people feel the need to compare. Like,
Yeah.
we are, as human beings, right? Like, maybe you do something differently, or you do something
Yeah,
differently. I'm not gonna ask your parents, hey, why do you do this with Nick? Like, we are human beings, we are all different. It's called an identity. It's called, like, personality. Why do you want your parenting style to, like, your friends to
Yeah,
have the
exactly.
same
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
I don't understand that.
Not even 1 month yet. They ask me whether my baby's sleeping through the night. Like, I'll be like, it is actually unsafe for them to sleep through the night. At this
Yeah.
point, they actually need to eat, you know. But at that point of time, you're already so like, oh my God, everything I'm doing is wrong, you know. And then someone asked me, is my baby sleeping through the night? Is she supposed to? I didn't know that. Oh my God. Like, you're like, I'm doing something wrong. They're like, you know what she needs? XXX. Then you'll be like, oh, do I need to buy that? Like, what's happening? Like, you know? And then they're like, yeah, last time we did this. And it was, I was like,
Yeah.
And suddenly a lot of people are giving you advice.
correct.
Like that you did not ask for, yeah.
Unsolicited advice.
I know that most of them probably come from a nice place. They are
Mm.
probably seeing you struggle. Maybe they want to help, you know. But the fact is, sometimes whatever works for them really wouldn't work for another
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
So I think it's a balance of knowing when to give that advice and when to simply be there for the person, I think.
I knew I wanted to be a mom from the start,
Mm.
but I also knew that if I don't work through my trauma,
sure.
it will be generational.
For sure.
And I don't want to do that. And I think for me and Charlie, when we talk about it, is as long as we are a loving couple, our kids will see that, they will mirror that, and everything else will follow. Kids will mimic what they see at home. They see how mommy talks to daddy. They see how he lives at home, how he treats you, your parents, your siblings. We don't give them enough credit, even as babies, and they really absorb. They're like sponges.
They are super sponges. Like, I have nephews and nieces around me, right? Like sometimes they pick up something, you're like, for sure they learned it from us, for
Yeah.
sure. And you didn't even obviously explicitly teach them. But they learn by mirroring you, it's true. Like, if you want them to share, you can't just say share. They have to see you sharing. If you want them to pick up after themselves, they have to see you pick up after yourself. I think that's just, you want to see them, you want them to eat vegetables, they have to see you eat vegetables. It's just like, they see how you do. So they always say, like, instead of telling kids, you just have to show them. But another thing that I seriously agree, it is the part about working through your own trauma. Like, for me, I feel like that is one of the first things that I realized come to play when I became a parent. How I start to heal my inner child as I start to become a parent. And for me, I would say that I'm someone, I was already in therapy before I became pregnant. And I thought that, oh, I'm such a healed person already, you know, like I already worked through all my issues. But when I became pregnant, it triggered me a lot of the issues that I realized. Like, I had to kind of rework through them in a new context, you know. Like, for example, I've already healed, I feel, from many things from my childhood. Like, I didn't have the best relationship with my mom. And as now I'm an adult, I've healed from it because I understand now that she was just doing the best that she could do as an adult. You know, when you're a kid, you look at your mom like, you are all-knowing, so how could you be so imperfect? But when you grow up, you're like, okay, actually, she was just someone who was doing her best. She was an adult. She didn't know any better. They didn't have therapy back then. She had her own trauma, okay? So I'm like, okay, I've forgiven, okay? But sometimes I look at my kid and I'm like, oh my God, as a daughter, I have forgiven. But as a parent, I might never understand. Like, I might never understand why in my memory I was treated the way I was treated. Because as a parent now, you look at your kid, you're like,
do that to your kid,
I could never do this, you know? But as a daughter, I've forgiven. I remember one of my biggest fear was, oh my God, now that I have a daughter, right? How do I sustain this woman-to-woman relationship? Because I don't remember it being really good with my mother, right? And even that, growing up, I was having tough time navigating girl friendships because of their relationship with my mother. Like, because that is the first woman relationship, you know, so it kind of like spill over to the rest of your woman relationship.
I'm talking to like future me and I'm scared.
Yeah, but that's why I remember when I was growing up, right now I look back, I was like, I just want to hug her because she used to be like, oh, I could never have girlfriends. Like, I don't know how to have girlfriends, you know. Now I'm surrounded by strong friendship that are women, and I didn't know how to navigate it growing up because I didn't know that girls can really be there for each other like that. I didn't feel that way. But I thought, oh my God, I'm so healed, you know, now I'm so healed. And then I have my daughter, I was like, oh my God, like, how am I going to navigate this? And I got so scared because I remember the first thing that rang in my ears that I thought I had forgotten, which was my mom telling me, I can't wait for you to see what it's like to have a daughter like you. Then you're going to know was
Oh my God, I
happened.
remember seeing this on your TikTok.
Yeah.
You posted it, right?
Yes, it reminded me, and I was like, oh, that's why I'm so scared to have a daughter,
Yeah.
because I was told that I was hard to love.
This was how old? Like when your mom said that? Like
Even I
already,
was
you
really-
pregnant already or you?
No, like,
or
you know, when you're
last
young,
time
last
lah.
time, you know, when you
When she
argue
was
with them,
young.
oh, next time you have a daughter, then you know, like,
Yeah.
just like you, then blah, blah, blah. Then you always thought that a daughter just like you is an insult.
Yeah.
But now, I think when I grew up and I learned to love myself, a daughter just like me is a blessing. To have someone as strong as me and as good friend as me and as wise as me, it is a blessing to me.
Yeah.
I think we forget that our parents are being parents for the first time.
Yeah.
We are also being children for the first time.
Yeah.
The difference is that they are responsible for us and we are not responsible for them. So for me, in my journey of healing my inner child, is recognizing that as much as I can empathize, the responsibility was still on the parent. And I think what you do with this information is very important because you also don't want to transfer like resentment. Because there are a lot of people who can heal, and then when they see their kids have a trauma-free childhood, then you're like, you don't understand how easy you have it. But it's not their choice.
It's not.
You know what I mean? It's not like, then what, you're gonna inflict the same so that they know what it's like, so that they know how lucky they are. Like, you know, it's a very tricky thing, which is why I feel like the best I can do to prepare is to heal first.
I remember growing up, like the responsibility put on me was like, do you know how expensive it is to raise you or not? Wow, do you know that me and dad quarrel because of you or not? Like, and I always think, oh my God, like, it's my fault. Like, I'm so expensive. And I'm so expensive to raise. I'm so like, and it's not even like big things. Like, maybe it's like, oh, do you know that tuition is expensive? Like, something like,
Again, another
like,
choice.
It's not even like I want you think I want
not even
tuition, man?
You're not even like, oh, you know, I buy you bags. Like, not even that kind. It's like, wow, you know, like, food for you is expensive.
Isn't that
You mean
necessary?
you're not gonna give me food? Like what is the other choice here? I don't understand. So it's like I used to feel so responsible for all this taking up space. Like,
Yeah.
but like we shouldn't have to feel responsible for taking up space.
Yeah.
Like it was never my will to. And
Yeah.
I realized that only when I had my kid. I realized, oh my God, like it's almost like, you know, when you're in therapy, right? They always say when you're speaking harshly about yourself, you imagine a 5-year-old version of yourself. And you speak to her, and then you be there for her. So now I feel like I have a physical like little baby that is like my inner child that I realize I now speak for her, and I realize now some things I was never supposed to feel. I was never supposed to be made responsible for. And because I realized that, then I can do better for her, you see. So that is such an important journey, I feel.
So Deborah, for the audience out there, do you have any words of wisdom for any mothers who are going through this journey?
Sometimes I even feel like whether I can give words of wisdom because I've only been doing it for 8 months. You know the meme? I've only been doing this for 2 freaking days. Like, what? You know, I don't know whether I have words of wisdom, but I feel like one common theme that I've seen in my friends who now are like kids of 2, they always told me this. They said, so if you are really struggling, you are stressed and you feel like you're not doing a good job, you're probably trying to be a good parent, you know. I feel like one thing I had to give up when I became a parent is the idea of being a perfectionist. Like I'm someone who's quite a control freak. There's nothing you can control about a child, you know.
Yeah.
Like you have a plan and then they are like, I heard that plan. My friends and I have a joke, which is that like tomorrow for lunch, right? And then tomorrow I'll be like, oh my God, the virus hurt us. My kid is sick. Yeah, I'll be like, virus 1, us 0. Like, it's like, don't let them pay your plans, you know. I had to give up being a control freak. I had to give up being a perfectionist. Sometimes when I feel like I'm doing a bad job, you know, I feel like a bad parent. Like, that's probably a sign that I'm really, really trying my best to be a one. That helps me.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us on this episode of The Hot Pot. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Me Listen as well.
And don't forget to subscribe to us if you haven't already.
And thank you, Deborah, for being here today.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
And a very happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and soon-to-be mothers out there as well. We will see you on the next episode.
Bye!
Maybe for Joey and Nick, right? If you guys were to ever become parents, what kind of parents would you want to be?
Wow, good parents.
The best. Season what?
I just on season 1.
We're on season 5 now.
Hey, wait, no.
Sorry. I'm at
Wait,
6.
sorry. I just watched it continuously until I don't know what season